So I just finished reading this book called Falling Up. Here it is here. Ooh. It is a memoir by Dana Liesegang, and it was pretty incredible, this book. Dana covers her life from the time she was very young, growing up, all the way to present day. This book was very cool. You know, you couldn't help but kind of fall in love with Dana as you got to know her and imagine her growing up, this really awesome, fun, outdoorsy tomboy who was not afraid of anything. And then seeing her struggles as she grew up and ultimately her decision to enlist in the US Navy. Life was going good, you know. And then at the age of 19, she was viciously raped, beaten, and thrown off a cliff, left to die. Luckily for Dana, she didn't. She was found and she was transported to hospital. However, she was in a coma. The medical team who was giving her a prognosis and looking after her, keeping her comfortable, making sure she was still breathing, told her family that chances are she wouldn't wake up. And if she did wake up, she would be a vegetable. She would never be able to breathe on her own. Chances are she would have severe brain damage and cognitive issues and all this stuff. So basically they told her family there's no hope. Dana's mom knew better and said, you don't know who you're dealing with. Dana's mom's prognosis was the correct one. Dana went from not being able to breathe on her own to weaning herself off the ventilator. She ended up damaging her C5 vertebrae. This made her quadriplegic. The majority of the book takes place after the rape and the beating, and you see her journey from waking up in that hospital bed all the way to present day and how amazing and strong a woman she is. She's just very inspiring. She's constantly done the impossible, and she's done it time and time again. It's amazing. What those impossibles are, you'll have to read the book to find out. Ooh. She's kind of insane, and I kind of fell in love with her a little bit. She's awesome. I want to be friends with you. Dana Liesegang, if you watch this, can we be friends, please? This book, I would recommend it to anyone, really. If you're just looking for a good book to read, you're looking for something inspirational, you yourself have been through some kind of a trauma, not necessarily rape or beating, but any kind of trauma, I think you would definitely benefit from this book. She has some amazing lessons that she touches on. The lesson of not giving up. She is human and she's thought about it, but she couldn't do it. It's not Dana. But one of the major lessons that she learned and that she then teaches us through her book is that forgiveness is key to any kind of healing. Physical, mental, emotional, whatever. You need to learn to forgive. Rape is still a very taboo subject in this day and age, which is outrageous to me. Like Dana, many victims of rape are silenced, whether it's bribe, threat, fear, people not believing them when they do tell someone. From what I've heard and what I've read about people who have lived through this is that, you know, when they do tell someone, they end up being victimized twice because they tell the person that they think they can trust, who will understand, who will support them, and then that person turns on them, whether it be a family member, law enforcement, the Navy, whoever. It's very frustrating to me that's what's still happening in this day and age. The victims are the ones who get blamed for it. You know, the person who does the raping always seems to be protected, and they just get to go out and walk free amongst the rest of civilization, and chances are they hurt other people as well, like Dana's attacker did. And then the rape victims or the rape survivors, depending on how you choose to look at it, whether it's half full or half empty, your glass, they get ridiculed. They get told it's their fault. They get told, you know, that couldn't have happened. It's a misunderstanding. You were asking for it. That didn't happen. This is what happened. You're not remembering it correctly. You know, all sorts of different things. And it's outrageous. And then these people are silenced without a voice. They don't feel like they can tell anyone. They have no one they can talk to about it, because even though there's someone who they can talk to, they feel like if I say anything, I'll just be told that's not correct or that didn't happen. And it's easier just to keep it locked down inside, which is horrible. You can't keep something like that inside, and it's just, it's so upsetting to me. Having to keep it in and hidden, repressed, should not be what the norm is, and unfortunately it is. And she shares statistics in her book, mostly for the Navy or the military, about sexual assault, and it horrified me. I really do encourage you, if you are a victim of rape, I do encourage you to speak out, to let your story be heard. It's still such a taboo subject, and the victims are not believed. The survivors are not believed. You must go out there, and if we can get enough people, both military and civilian, to speak out about their experience, then that's when we'll see change. And change needs to happen. It's happening slowly, as she did say, but it needs to change much more than the little bit it has in the past few years. Dana also makes it very clear throughout her entire book that rape is never the victim's fault. This is very, very important. If you have been raped, or if you are someone who has said that hasn't happened to someone who has survived rape, you must understand it is never their fault. They were never asking for it. It does not matter how much or how little clothing they were wearing, what their facial expression or body language might have been, whether they were drunk or not. That does not matter. If it is not consensual, it is rape. It's never your fault. And don't let anyone tell you it was your fault. It wasn't. And if you have gone through this, I'm so sorry. I wish I could just reach through your computer screen and give you a hug and tell you that I believe you, because I do. Of course, there is that small percent who cry rape and they weren't. But I think if someone tells you that they have been raped, you need to listen and take it very seriously and believe them. I put a link to Dana's website in the description box below. In the description box is also links to my Tumblr, Goodreads, and Instagram. Please follow. Please, if you have read the book or anything I have said in this video intrigues you, or you want to start a discussion, please comment. I would love to hear your comments. I would love for discussion to start. Yes, and I hope you read this book if you haven't, and if you have read this book, I hope you enjoyed it as much as I did. For those of you who have not read this amazing book about this extraordinary woman, I hope that you do go and read it. Happy reading. Bye.